More than 30 million people worldwide use prosthetic limbs. Scientists are inventing more and more advanced designs each year. Configuration is getting more complex, grip is getting firmer, and control more precise. For many years, the world's top laboratories have been working on a pressing question: how to get feedback from an artificial limb and make it as flexible as a real one. Russian laboratories are working on prototypes for such gadgets. The new generation of prosthetics will allow their owners to tell the size and hardness of an object by touch for the first time. In Russia alone, 200,000 people are waiting for this invention to reach the market.
Our customers, who use our prostheses regularly, give us feedback on them. And they say that the prosthesis is a wonderful device that allows them to socialize, to work, and to control the prosthesis, solving current tasks. But when it gets dark, or when you can't see your prosthesis properly, that's where it gets complicated, because there's no feedback from it.
Feedback is very important for prosthetics. For example, we can find something in my bag in the dark. We just put my hand into the bag and grab what we need. A person with a prosthetic can't feel anything. I haven't seen anyone who plays the guitar with a bionic prosthesis, so I'm the first cyber guitarist ever. That's awesome.
We're developing a technology that allows a signal to be transmitted from a prosthetic limb, from strain gauges, to a person's nervous system via a neurostimulator that allows a person to feel the size of objects and differentiate between hard and soft.
Luba, in order to better understand the technologies of the future, tell us what prosthetics exist today.
There are mechanical and bionic prosthetics. Mechanical prosthetics are made without any electronics and have only a cable and a spring. Bionic ones have touch sensors, microprocessors, drives, and other complex components.
Traction prosthetics are controlled by the preserved joints. For example, a wrist joint or an elbow joint. Tensioning a thread creates a grip. Bionic prosthetics transmit signals from human muscles to sensors that read muscle activity and thus control the prosthetic. One muscle is an extensor. The other is a flexor, so there are sensors in the sleeve to read the data on the extensor muscle. A person tenses it. The prosthetic opens. A person tenses another muscle. The prosthetic closes. This is how the prosthetics developed by our scientists back in the 1960s are controlled. There's a prosthetic with 6 degrees of movement freedom for each finger. In this case, we can control each finger individually when using the prosthetic. There's another type of prosthesis, a single grip one. Such prostheses are controlled for contracting by opening and closing. And here, none of the fingers work separately, because only a basic grip is possible.
I thought it was very funny how some electronics in a prosthetic respond to a muscle tension. It was great. I use a single grip model. I could take any object, carry it anywhere. If an object could be picked up with a prosthesis, you can get dressed, you can eat, you can carry objects, open and close doors. You can take a key out of your pocket, insert it into a lock, and open it. Of course, it is not as easy as with a hand, but you can master it. It may seem inconvenient and rather slow. Nevertheless, a person gets used to it and can care for themselves, which is important to me.
Why does the prosthesis respond slowly? To explain this, I have to use a complicated term, an electromyographic signal, which is generated by the bone marrow. This signal causes the muscle in your limbs to contract. But a prosthesis is not a hand, so it loses the speed contest in advance. But how do you make it as fast? How did humans solve this problem?
The new technologies we're developing are special sensor technologies that are attached for certain types of injuries and can read not myographic signals from the muscles, but tissue movement. For example, here we have tendons and ligaments that move under the skin, and these sensors, penetrating under the skin with light, can read the movements of ligaments and tendons. After post-processing data by artificial intelligence, these signals can be transmitted to electronics and control the prosthesis, and then the patient can control each of the prosthetic fingers separately, but in a more natural way.
I started playing the guitar at the age of 13. I still had all my fingers back then. I played with all my fingers for 4 years. Then I had an injury and I started to think about how I could translate the sounds in my head to the guitar. And little by little, in about 2 years, I recovered the technique and I play better than I used to. I can only open and close it, but you can set up different gestures for different life situations in an app. My favorite gesture is when the fingers close one after the other. I have a delayed closing here. It allows you to carry something and to bend one finger separately to show, okay, there are 8 programmable gestures in this version of the app. With my 3 fingers, I haven't even thought of all the gestures I need.
Our main task is to get feedback from the prosthetic to the nervous system. Everyone has hit an elbow. Everyone has experienced an electrical impulse going down the arm. We have conducted several stages of study. With certain parameters of stimulation, patients noted that when an electrical signal was applied, the patient felt the phantom hand clench into a fist. The stronger the signal, the tighter the phantom fist. The next engineering challenge we faced was to transmit these signals from the prosthesis to a neurostimulator with preset parameters that provoke these sensations. To do this, we developed special strain gauges or pressure sensors. We put them into the prosthetic fingers along with an angle measurement system, and after that, we transmitted the signal to the neurostimulator with preset parameters that cause the proprioceptive sensations, making a hand into a fist.
Our speaker uttered an interesting term. Let's get into it. Close your eyes, stretch your arm forward and guess where it is. Piece of cake, isn't it? That's proprioception, the ability to feel your body in space. 908 This doesn't work with a prosthesis, but Russian developers have created gadgets whose owner can feel in space. But that's not all. The owner of a bionic hand does not need vision to see what objects he takes. Russian developers are testing a prosthesis with sensor technology.
After some training, our patients with prosthetics, without any visual contact, wearing a special mask and headphones, were able to tell the size of the object in a prosthetic, large, medium, and small, and tell if an object was hard or soft. We are now developing this exact stimulator, which will be as close as possible to the signals of human receptors.
Scientists have also realized that such prosthetics help patients with phantom pains. The pain in a non-existent limb used to be a psychological problem, but it has been proven that physiology is involved. 10-15 The brain and spinal cord keep receiving impulses from the limb via nerve fibers.
There are various methods of treating phantom pain. Medication does not work for everyone. There is also nerve stimulation, electrical stimulation of nerves with a special stimulator implanted into a human body. We implanted electrodes into the biceps of patients with phantom pain. Then we sent electrical signals, which caused the phantom pain to subside.
If the brain is busy processing the electrical signals from the prosthesis, it won't remind a person of a phantom limb. In this way, phantom pain will be replaced by new sensations from responsive and flexible devices. And people will also be able to feel objects, barely touching them with a cyberhand.
I participate in the cyber athletics every year. It is a competition for people with technical rehabilitation devices where they perform everyday tasks. The hardest part for me was shooting a bow to hit a mark, get a key, and move on. It was a great testing ground to check out the effectiveness of the technology and its suitability for use. And this motivates all the teams that are creating these technologies to improve them so that the users can do more. Luba, can you show me what a highly sensitive bionic prosthesis will look like?
This is how I see a highly sensitive bionic prosthesis.